On 6th and 9th August of 1945, the United States of America dropped 2 nuclear bombs on Japan. One in Hiroshima and another one in Nagasaki. This event effectively ended World War II and changed the entire world as we know it. This one event set so many butterfly effects in motion. It ended Hitler's brutal regime, it ended imperialism and set up democracies in Europe. It set the stage for a Cold War between the US and Soviet Russia and also accelerated India's efforts to gain independence from the British Raj. But these kinds of events always caused some collateral damage. One of the biggest hits India took was the alleged death of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Jai Shri Ram dosto. On 22nd January, we witnessed a very big event in our civilizational history. After 500 years of struggle, Lord Ram is now back in his birthplace of Ayodhya. I'm sure the effects of this event are still sinking in all of us. It was a once in a multi-century event after all. But you know what? 22nd January, Ayodhya, the Vanvas of Shri Ram, all of these remind me of our very own Netaji Bose. You see, after the Pran Pratishtha was completed on 22nd January, the temple was made open for public visits on 23rd January, which coincidentally is also Netaji's birthday. And funnily, the Bengal tiger who fought so valiantly against the British Raj also has a very interesting connection with Ayodhya. हुआ ये, on 23rd August 1945, the Japanese radio announced that a bomber plane carrying Netaji Bose had crashed near today's Taipei airport. A fuel tank on the top of Netaji's seat had exploded, covering Netaji in a big ball of fire. At around 8 p.m. on the 18th of August, Netaji passed away due to severe burns all across his body. His funeral was conducted as per Hindu rituals, and his ashes now lay with a priest in Rankoji temple. The photos of his bones and some belongings were made available to authorities as evidence of his death. This news spread like wildfire and rightfully broke a lot of hearts in the then undivided British-ruled India. Stop! Cut! Arey bhai, this is the official version of the story. And this is not probably completely true. Trust me, the real story is better than most of the James Bond films. Here is what actually happened. Netaji, being the astute wartime politician he was, knew that the Axis powers were losing the war and Japan may surrender anytime soon. He also knew that the fall of Japan meant the biggest support system for the Indian National Army would also fall. With this realization, he had only 2 realistic options. One, to surrender to the Allied forces, meaning the British and American empires. Or second, to try and escape from Japan to a safer place. His daring escape from India to meet Hitler had already made coming back to his motherland near impossible in the short term. So, he faked his death, creates a smoke screen, and escapes into Soviet Russia. He stays there for the next 5 years or so and comes back to India via Nepal in the 1950s.
Dear Prathamesh, why are you telling us conspiracy theories? ये series तो elections के लिए बना रहे हो, right?
Well, this is not a conspiracy theory anymore. Let me show you a clip.
In 2006, Amlan Ghosh, a documentary filmmaker, caught this shocking confession on camera.
Believe me, আমাকে যদি personally বলেন, এটা কিন্তু not we quoted, বলবেন না কাউকে. I am 100% sure that উনি
This, my friend, was Justice Manoj Kumar Mukherjee, a former Supreme Court judge and the former Chief Justice of Bombay High Court and Allahabad High Court. He was also the head of Mukherjee Commission, which probably did the most comprehensive investigation of this entire issue, following a Supreme Court order in 1999. Now, if you read this report, it is this commission that has concluded that Netaji did not die in an aircraft. Let's start with the goals of their inquiry first. They were to check whether Netaji is dead or alive, whether he died in a plane crash, whether the ashes in the Japanese temple belong to him or whether he died at a different place. If yes, when and how? And if he is alive, where is he now? The Mukherjee Commission concluded that Netaji is dead. He did not die in a plane crash. The ashes in the Rankoji temple do not belong to Netaji, and in the absence of clinching evidence, a positive answer cannot be shared. Now, the last question, of course, was invalid, as Netaji has been proven dead. But it is this fourth point that we should pay attention to. No clinching evidence to prove how he died. Let me tell you what we are missing out here, and what makes me excited. The commission concluded that Netaji did not die in the plane crash, but they don't have enough evidence to prove how and when and where he really died.
But then I don't understand. This is definitely interesting, but just tell me more. What is going on here?
Well, it's simple. Let's go back to the commission report. There were 5 possibilities which they were evaluating. 1, that he was murdered at Red Fort. 2nd, that he died in a plane crash. 3rd, that he died in Dehradun in 1977. 4th, that he died in Shivpur Kalan in 1977. And 5th, that he died in Ram Bhavan, Faizabad in 1985. Now let's eliminate the easiest one first. The first theory was rejected as an outright figment of imagination. The Sadhu's death in Dehradun was also a no-starter, as there was no reliable evidence at all to prove he was Netaji. And the Shivpur Kalan story was so ridiculous that the person who submitted this theory claimed कि उसने नेताजी, हबीबुर रहमान और हिटलर तीनों को प्लेन क्रैश से बाहर आते हुए देखा. So of course ये theory भी reject हो गई. That leaves us with the plane crash theory and Gumnami Baba of Faizabad. With regards to the plane crash theory, after a lot of deliberation and investigation, like really a lot, this part of the report goes on for like 60-70 different pages. I recommend you guys to read this entire report. There's so much detail in this. But the commission essentially concludes that Netaji succeeded in escaping from the Allied forces by creating this make-believe story of a plane crash. The entire story was carefully crafted with the Japanese army, 2 Japanese doctors and Habibur Rahman involved. This fabricated story was then broadcast as planned on 23rd August, along with a trail of evidence carefully planted to make it look true. अब भरोसा हुआ? This is not a conspiracy theory anymore. अब बची है बस एक theory. Gumnami Baba of Faizabad, who died on 16 September 1985, राम भवन में. अयोध्या के श्री राम मंदिर मुझे नेताजी की याद क्यों दिला रहा था, इसका ये रीजन है दोस्तों. Anyway, going back to the commission report, the Mukherjee Commission essentially considered the deposition of around 31 witnesses. There were 2 categories of witnesses which were particularly interesting. One, where the witnesses had met Bhagwanji multiple times but hadn't met Netaji before 1945. And the second, more special one, where the witnesses had met Netaji both before and after 1945 as well. These witnesses claimed that several freedom fighters, eminent politicians, and former members of INA, all of them used to visit Bhagwanji on 23rd Jan and Durga Puja. This was supported by letters written by eminent personalities like Professor Samar Guha, Dr. Prabhita Roy, and Miss Leela Roy. There is one very peculiar point I would like to add here. There was one individual, a very famous politician, who apparently regularly visited Bhagwanji. During the course of the commission investigation, he denied all the links and reaffirmed the official government stand, but let me read this passage out. Take it as you would an entry from Ripley's Believe It or Not. 3 Bhagwanji followers I have known for years and trusted told me to my utter astonishment that one of the government emissaries they saw going to Bhagwanji with his head bowed down was none other than Pranab Mukherjee. Yes, our ex-president, Mr. Pranab Mukherjee. Bhagwanji praised Mukherjee for possessing a sharp memory. An elaboration of sort came on 13th August 2014 with Prime Minister Modi remarking that a half-an-hour talk with Mukherjee is like reading a good book. My misfortune is that the only time I had the pleasure of seeing Pranab Mukherjee in person This veritable human computer appeared to be malfunctioning. As witness number 50 before the Justice M.K. Mukherjee Commission, I saw witness number 48 Pranab Mukherjee fumbling on basic facts concerning the Netaji mystery. Anyway, coming back to the commission report, there were about 2,600 articles that belonged to Bhagwanji that were found in Ram Bhavan. This included a lot of books, personal items, photographs, watches, letters, and magazines. These also included journals and writings in some books which were claimed to be Netaji's. These were sent for handwriting analysis against some known Netaji samples. There was also a set of 5 teeth that were found in Ram Bhavan, which was sent for a DNA test. Now this is exactly where the case gets murky. While the commission found a lot of circumstantial evidence pointing towards Bhagwanji being Netaji, it needed a positive handwriting and DNA test report to confirm this fact beyond reasonable doubt. But 2 out of 3 handwriting experts concluded that the handwriting doesn't match. The DNA report suggested that the teeth do not belong to either the maternal or paternal DNA lineage of Netaji. Now, I have had the fortune of talking to Chandrachud sir and Anuj sir on this topic many a times. In fact, the passage I read out was from Anuj sir's book. And I know how in-depth their research is. And when they tell me that the handwriting reports and the DNA reports were fudged by the government agencies, I stand to believe them.
तो यहाँ पे हुआ क्या था कि कुछ दांत यहाँ से मिले थे 5-7 दांत, तो पहले उन्होंने भेजे CDFD हैदराबाद को और वहाँ पे टेस्ट हुआ, टेस्ट की रिपोर्ट आई इनकन्क्लूसिव। बात हमें मुखर्जी ने बताई थी प्राइवेटली कि एक्चुअली DNA मैच कर गया है, इन्होंने जानबूझ के कंक्लूड नहीं किया और लिख दिया जी इनकन्क्लूसिव है। हम लोगों ने एक हमारे सर्कल में हमें उसी लैब के अंदर एक हमारा सोर्स मिल गया। सोर्स को बोला कि जाके फाइल चेक करके बता क्या है इसके अंदर। उसने फाइल चेक करके बोला कि भैया इसमें गड़बड़ है। डायरेक्टर साहब ने खुद टेस्ट किया, किसी सेकंड एक्सपर्ट को नहीं बुलाया और कुछ फाड़ फूड़ दिया गया इसके अंदर से, और तब उसने हमको बताया कि एक चिड़िया होती है जिस चिड़िया का नाम होता है इलेक्ट्रोफेरोग्राम। अब सरकार की रिपोर्ट ये बोलती है CFSL की कि गुमनामी बाबा वाज नॉट नेताजी बिकॉज DNA रिपोर्ट हैज़ नॉट मैच। हमने रिपोर्ट होम मिनिस्ट्री से पूरी मंगा ली, इलेक्ट्रोफेरोग्राम उसमें लगा नहीं हुआ। हमने सूचना के अधिकार में कहा भैया हमको रिपोर्ट हमारे पास पड़ी हुई है, आप वो चार्ट हमको दीजिए। अब कॉमन सेंस की बात है कि गुमनामी बाबा जब नेताजी नहीं है तो को राव को एरा करे तू फेरा करके तो दे दो। तब इन्होंने हमको आंसर दिया कि साहब ये तो सीक्रेट है, कैसे दे दें आपको? तो सीक्रेट किस बात का, वो तो बाबा था।
All the time there should be electrophorograms because if second scientist would like to analyze the result independently, he or she should see the result with his own eyes.
और हमारे देश में बड़ी पुरानी कहावत है कि ना रहेगा बांस ना बजेगी बंसरी।
It is in this context that the commission concludes that in the absence of any clinching evidence, they cannot confirm whether Netaji died in Faizabad in 1985 or not.
But then why isn't our government ordered a fresh new DNA test or a handwriting test?
Scene ये है, the Ram Janmabhoomi movement, the Maratha agitation for reservation, the farm law protests, and countless such examples point to a simple relationship जो हम लोग मिस कर रहे हैं. You see, policy decisions made by nation states are a negotiation between 2 important forces. 1, what does the society demand? And 2, what is the nation state ready to grant? Let's take the Ram Janmabhoomi temple movement as an example. The society had been demanding it for almost 500 years. But neither the Mughal emperor nor the British Empire and neither the newly born nation state of India was ready to grant this demand, which ultimately resulted in the Car Seva of 91, the demolition of the mosque by Car Sevaks, the riots that followed, the legal case that followed. All of these events show how the society negotiates with the nation state on what it demands. Conversely, when there is no demand from the society at all, the nation state gets a complete free hand to do whatever it likes. Now tell me honestly, does our society today demand the declassification of Netaji files? Does it really demand that Netaji's death mystery be finally laid to rest? Does it demand respect and love for arguably one of the most important freedom fighters of India? I know a lot of you wish for this to happen, but simply wishing is not enough. Now this does not mean कि हम रास्ते पे उतर के मोर्चा निकालना पड़े. भाई डेमोक्रेसी है, डिमांड रखने के कई रास्ते होते हैं. Now one of the ways to express our demand is right in front of us. Elections आ रहे हैं. It is our vote that will decide who will run this country for the next 5 years. And if you are interested, really interested, in demanding that Netaji's death mystery should be resolved, make this a necessary condition for your vote. जब भी आपके घर कोई आपका वोट मांगने आए, पूछिए उनसे, क्या आप नेताजी की डेथ मिस्ट्री रिजॉल्व करोगे? क्या आपकी सरकार नेताजी से रिलेटेड सारे दस्तावेज डीक्लासिफाई करेगी? अनदर ऑप्शन इज, नीचे डिस्क्रिप्शन में चेंज पिटिशन का लिंक दिया है. प्लीज गो एंड साइन द पिटिशन. द नंबर ऑफ सिग्नेचर्स वी कैन ऑल कलेक्ट विल बी अ गुड मेजर of how many citizens actually want this policy decision. Let me also take this opportunity to make this request to all the political leaders of my country. It doesn't matter to me whether you are from north or south. It doesn't matter to me if you speak Hindi or not. It doesn't matter to me if you believe in God or not. What does matter to me is that the story of one of the most important freedom fighters remains incomplete, even today. And it doesn't look good that the government of free India does not care enough about those who earned this freedom for her. Mamta Didi, I personally plead to you. It was your statement in 2015, your declassification of files in West Bengal, and your commendable initiative which forced the Modi government to take action. And given Netaji's Bengal's son and Bengal's legacy, it would be the most appropriate that you become the champion of this cause. My personal appeal to you, Mamta Didi, can you promise to declassify Netaji files if you come to power in the center in 2024? If this video has really reached you, you should also know that there are a lot of our citizens which will support you for this cause. My name is Prathamesh and I'm the founder of the Civilization Project. With all honesty and good faith, this is the first agenda item that I would like to propose as a part of our election discourse. For the last so many years, we have been witnessing the rise of identity politics. I understand that it is a good marketing strategy to divide the audience into specific target groups and position your offering accordingly. But I personally would like to see more of policy debates in our country. Elections are such a wonderful point in time where the society at large gets to decide for the entire nation state. It is our vote which decides the fate of our country for the next 5 years. And as a student of decision making, I would love to see our society making decisions of whom to vote based on robust policy agendas and not just based on someone's identity. If you think the same, do share this video with your friends and family. There is a detailed policy proposal attached with this video and the link will be in the description below. And if you believe that declassification of Netaji files is an important issue for upcoming elections, please do voice your support by signing the change petition, sharing the change petition with your friends. You'll find the link in the description for that as well. Thank you so much for watching and we'll be back with the next agenda item very soon. Remember, the future of politics starts with us. Stay tuned and keep the conversation going.